Hello, Scorpio. On the 4th of July, 2025, we enter a powerful emotional reset as the new moon rises in Cancer, a fellow water sign that speaks directly to your inner world. This lunar event opens the door to deep emotional reflection, especially in areas tied to your family, childhood memories, and unspoken fears around abandonment or control. Cancer's energy is nurturing, but protective, and when the moon is new here, it encourages you to turn inward, not just for comfort, but for truth. Old emotional wounds may resurface. You might feel more sensitive, more vulnerable, or even overwhelmed without knowing why. That's not weakness. It's a sign that something within you is ready to be acknowledged and released. As a Scorpio, you don't shy away from the depths, and this new moon offers you a clear moment to begin again, not by forgetting what hurt you, but by seeing it clearly and deciding how you want to carry it forward or not carry it at all. This is the opening, a quiet, honest one. Use it. At the same time, Mars in Gemini forms a tense square with Saturn in Pisces, creating internal friction between the impulse to act and the invisible forces that hold you back. This energy can feel particularly challenging for Scorpio, a sign that thrives on control, intensity, and emotional precision. You may feel like something within you is pressing to move forward, to speak out, to make a clean break. Yet you're met with delays, doubts, or emotional resistance that seem to come from nowhere. There's a sense of urgency colliding with hesitation, of truth bubbling up against a wall of consequences you're not sure you're ready to face. This transit doesn't block you to punish you. It slows you down so you can understand what's truly driving you. Mars wants action, but Saturn asks, is this the right time? Or are you reacting out of frustration, fear, or unprocessed pain? You might feel like you're stuck in a holding pattern, especially in conversations that feel overdue or decisions you've been avoiding. But this isn't a failure. It's a moment of emotional maturity. It's the universe teaching you that discernment is just as powerful as courage. What's surfacing now is not just situational, it's psychological. You're being shown the limits of what can be forced, and invited instead to become more strategic, more emotionally intelligent, and more patient. Wait for clarity. Observe your own motivations. Let the tension teach you something before you act. That's where the real growth is. On the 4th of July, 2025, Scorpio's financial sector comes under subtle yet significant influence due to the emotional weight of the new moon in Cancer and the restrictive tension between Mars in Gemini and Saturn in Pisces. The new moon highlights your ninth house of expansion and long-term vision, suggesting that your current financial decisions are tied less to immediate income and more to future growth, especially related to travel, education, legal matters, or international opportunities. You may feel the need to invest in something that doesn't bring instant reward, but holds deeper value down the road. However, this lunar influence can also bring hesitation or insecurity, especially if past financial mistakes or family-rooted beliefs around money start to resurface. At the same time, the square between Mars and Saturn can feel like a financial tension point, perhaps a deal delayed, a budget constraint, or an idea you want to pitch that's being met with resistance. You might feel stuck between the desire to take a financial risk and the pressure to stay within practical limits. This is not the time to push forward aggressively, but rather to pause, reassess, and plan with structure. If you've been navigating debt, joint accounts, or shared resources, today may highlight the emotional undercurrents tied to those themes. Scorpio's natural ability to manage complex power dynamics can serve you well now, but only if you operate from clarity, not frustration. Financial advice for the day. Hold back on large investments or emotionally driven spending. Focus on reviewing your long-term strategy. The insight you gain now will guide a more aligned financial step when the tension between Mars and Saturn eases in the coming weeks. On the 4th of July, 2025, Scorpio's professional landscape is deeply influenced by two powerful and contrasting astrological currents: the introspective energy of the new moon in Cancer and the frustrating tension created by the Mars-Saturn square. This combination turns your attention inward and slows external momentum, not to punish progress, but to realign it with greater emotional and spiritual intelligence. The new moon activates your ninth house, traditionally linked to higher education, publishing, foreign connections, and long-term aspirations. In the context of work, This suggests a strong pull toward rethinking your career trajectory, revisiting personal philosophies that guide your professional life, or exploring how your current role aligns or misaligns with your bigger purpose. You may feel a longing to expand, to move beyond the routine, to seek new meaning in what you do, or even to consider teaching, mentoring, or returning to school. However, the seed of vision is still tender. It's forming in silence, in the background, and it requires protection from impulsive action. At the same time, Mars in Gemini squares Saturn in Pisces, activating your 8th and 5th houses, a tense aspect that often shows up as creative frustration or blocked collaboration. You may feel eager to propose a new idea, launch a side project, or take the lead on something unconventional, but external systems, a supervisor, institutional rules, funding delays, seem to push back. This can feel demotivating, even deeply personal, especially for Scorpio, a sign that values control and strategy. But beneath the surface, this aspect is asking you to refine your approach, to slow down, examine your motives, and be willing to adjust your tactics. If you're in a leadership role, this day may test your patience. You might encounter resistance from team members, or feel the weight of being the one expected to hold everything together. If you're working under someone else's authority, you may feel creatively stifled, like your ideas are dismissed or your potential is being underestimated. Either way, this is a time to develop quiet resilience. The growth happening now is invisible but crucial. It's about learning when to speak and when to observe, when to initiate and when to wait. Scorpio's greatest professional strength is your ability to endure discomfort while keeping your vision intact. Today is about refining that vision, clarifying your values, and setting long-term intentions rather than chasing short-term wins. If you're feeling stuck, it's not a sign to give up. It's a call to prepare. The clarity you cultivate now will shape a more aligned, strategic path forward in the weeks to come. Let your silence work for you. Let patience be your power. Scorpio's health and well-being come under a softer, more emotional lens. As the new moon in Cancer stirs the waters of your inner world and the Mars-Saturn square adds pressure to your energy reserves. This is not a day of physical extremes. It's a day where emotional health directly impacts the body and where awareness of stress, fatigue, and internal tension becomes vital. The new moon touches your 9th house, which may not seem directly related to health, but it does influence your mental perspective, belief systems, and the emotional lens through which you experience the world. If you've been pushing yourself too hard or carrying emotional weight in silence, your body may begin to signal discomfort through fatigue, digestive sensitivity, or psychosomatic tension. Sleep may be disturbed by vivid dreams, or your mind may feel restless yet uninspired, caught in a loop of questioning without clear answers. This lunar energy invites you to slow down and reconnect with rituals that nourish you on a deeper level, whether that's meditation, journaling, walking in nature, or simply resting without guilt. Meanwhile, Mars in Gemini clashing with Saturn in Pisces affects both your nervous system, Gemini, and immune or lymphatic system, Pisces. You may experience moments of mental overactivity paired with physical sluggishness, as if your thoughts are racing ahead while your body refuses to follow. This tension can manifest as irritability, muscular tightness, especially shoulders and neck, or the feeling of being overstimulated but emotionally drained. Mars wants movement, but Saturn enforces limits, and your job is to listen to both. Scorpio is known for emotional intensity, and under these transits, suppressed feelings can become physical symptoms. If you've been holding in anger, grief, or anxiety, your body may start to speak on your behalf. Today is an opportunity to tune in, not push through. Drink more water, spend time in calming environments, and avoid overstimulation, especially digital or social media overload. Choose grounding over adrenaline. This is a day for inner recalibration, not performance, not productivity. Allow your body to feel safe again by giving it what it needs: softness, warmth, quiet, and compassion. When the emotional waters are stirred, healing doesn't begin with action. It begins with permission to just be. This is not a loud day for relationships. It's subtle, nostalgic, and deeply reflective. Love, in all its forms, romantic, familial, platonic, carries more weight now, especially the kind rooted in history, memory, and emotional safety. For those in a relationship, This new moon may bring a desire for more emotional closeness, not through grand gestures, but through the small, quiet moments, shared silence, honest conversations, or even a long overdue apology. You might find yourself yearning for reassurance or offering it to your partner, but with a sensitivity that makes you second guess what you say or how you say it. There's a vulnerability in the air that makes it easy to misread someone's intentions, especially if old wounds, abandonment, rejection, betrayal, start to echo in present dynamics. If you're single, this is a powerful moment to reflect on the emotional patterns you carry into relationships. The Cancer new moon brings your attention to the past, not to get stuck there, but to understand it. You might think about someone you once loved, or someone you never got the chance to fully know. Longing could surface, but so could clarity. What parts of yourself have you been hiding in love? What emotional needs have gone unmet, not just by others, but by you? Friendships and family relationships also come into sharper emotional focus. There may be conversations that feel tender, or silences that speak louder than words. You could feel more protective of your inner circle, or more aware of emotional distance where closeness once existed. It's a good time to reach out to someone who's been on your mind, not to fix everything, but to reconnect in a simple, sincere way. However, with Mars square Saturn, some of these interactions may feel restrained. You might want to open up but find the words stuck in your throat. You may sense resistance from others who are emotionally unavailable, distracted, or caught in their own internal battles. The challenge here is to not take things personally. Everyone is moving through their own emotional terrain right now, and the best you can do is approach each relationship, including the one with yourself, with patience, respect, and emotional honesty. Overall, this is a day where feelings run deep, even if they're not fully expressed. It's a time to listen more carefully, love more gently, and lean into emotional truth, even if it's uncomfortable. Vulnerability is not weakness, it's the path to deeper connection. And today, Scorpio, connection begins with you being real about what your heart truly needs. Lucky numbers and colors for Scorpio. The 4th of July, 2025. On this emotionally charged day shaped by the Cancer new moon and the Mars-Saturn tension, Scorpio's path is best supported by energies that soothe, ground, and bring clarity to your inner world. Your lucky symbols today aren't about bold risk-taking. They're about aligning with stability, emotional insight, and calm self-awareness. Lucky numbers: Viu, Seba, et Trayok. These numbers resonate with balance, introspection, and emotional wisdom. The number 2 encourages harmony and connection, especially in relationships. 7 supports your inner search for truth and spiritual alignment, while 18 brings the courage to release old patterns and begin anew. Asterisk lucky colors: silver gray, soft ivory, and deep ocean blue. These shades mirror the gentle, reflective energy of the Cancer moon, while honoring Scorpio's need for depth and authenticity. Silver gray helps calm racing thoughts and centers your emotional body. Ivory invites softness and forgiveness. Deep ocean blue strengthens intuition and encourages quiet emotional power, perfect for navigating the subtle shifts of the day. Wearing or surrounding yourself with these colors can help you feel more anchored and supported, especially when emotions rise or decisions feel uncertain. Let these symbols guide you back to your inner equilibrium. As this day unfolds, Scorpio, remember that not all transformation comes with thunder. Some of the most powerful shifts happen quietly, in the spaces where you choose reflection over reaction, patience over urgency, softness over control. The stars today ask you to pause, not because you're weak, but because you're preparing for something deeper, more aligned. Let this new moon in Cancer hold you like water holds memory, gently, completely, without resistance. Let the tension between Mars and Saturn teach you the strength of stillness and the wisdom of restraint. Whatever is rising within you, whether it's an old story, a buried feeling, or a vision you've been too afraid to claim, trust that it's surfacing for a reason. You don't have to solve it all today. You only need to stay present with it. Take care of your inner world, Scorpio. Everything else will follow. Until next time, stay grounded, stay real, and keep listening inward.